Cézanne was never a distanced observer. The countryside was the living proof of the people who had used it, shaped it, marked it. But it seems that he felt that it was only by a careful study of the precise physical forms of nature, the actual colours that he saw, that he could reach through to the full implications of its human meaning. He was later to write, "I am its consciousness, the landscape thinks itself in me." When Cézanne painted the people of the region, he produced monumental portraits of people he neither sentimentalized nor patronized. If there is a distance between himself and his subjects, it is one of respect, for the difference between himself, a middle-class man, and those of another class and culture. He submitted people to the same discipline as the mountain, while he patiently analysed the field of coloured light for which his paintbrush had to find an adequate sign on canvas. It was his honesty about the status of art as representation which led Cézanne to his preoccupation with technique. He wrote, "I wished to copy nature, but I could not. But I was satisfied when I discovered that though the sun could not be reproduced, it could be represented by something else, colour." In the 1880s, like Seurat, Cézanne rejected the disorder of Impressionist painting and evolved what has been called his constructive brushstroke, carefully building up his pictures by small facets of finely modulated colour. This makes his pictures dense and at times claustrophobic. But Cézanne always tried to recreate through colour a sense of space and solidity of form. Women artists of the avant-garde painted another equally vivid aspect of modernity. Unable to frequent brothels, bars and cafes, artists like Mary Cassatt represented the world they knew intimately. Her subjects were drawn from the rituals and disciplines of middle-class womanhood. Cassatt joined the Impressionists in 1879. But her work of the 1880s and 90s exhibits many features of Postimpressionism in its move towards greater solidity and more organised surface. Yet her pictures are not distanced from their subjects. They balance a self-conscious exploration of medium and form with a concern to convey a known social and psychological reality. In the bath, Cassatt made use of the example of Japanese art, but she used it to achieve intensity and monumentality. The tilted perspective, the play of patterns, all testify to formal experimentation. But the effect is to concentrate the viewer's attention on the solidly placed woman and child and on what they are doing. The mundane act of bathing is thereby invested with dignity and meaning. Suzanne Valadon, a one-time milliner and circus performer, became an artist model. Renoir painted her, but she also began to paint for herself. The contrast between the images painted by women and the representations of women produced by men alerts us to the sexual politics in the formation of modernism. A persistent factor in the paintings of this era was a kind of sexual tourism. In 1891, Gauguin travelled to the South Pacific, in search of a distant mythic paradise. As a European man in the French colony of Tahiti, Gogh found it easy to take a wife from amongst the young Tahitian women and to use her as his model. He wrote to his European wife about this painting called Manao tu Papao of his 13-year-old bride in terms redolent of the colonizers' complacency and racism. I painted a nude of a young girl. In that position, a trifle can make it indecent, and yet I wanted her that way. The lines and the action interested me. I gave her a somewhat frightened expression. Gogh added the figure of the spirit of the dead, he said, to account for the girl's frightened expression. These people are very much afraid of the spirits of the dead. Gogh uses colour, patterns and simplified forms, as well as invented mythologies to create an image of the exotic. Yet the painting nonetheless recalls Olympia on her white bed. The displayed body and the watching figure all tie this image back into European concerns. From Manet to Picasso, from Olympia to the Demoiselles d'Avignon, male avant-garde artists have staked their claims as ambitious modernists on the bodies of women. The major paintings of European modernism are surprisingly often paintings of the female nude. The power men enjoy make women available for artistic experimentation and colonization. In many ways, modern art rejected the humanist traditions of Western art, but it never abandoned the female nude. Instead, it used women's bodies for its most extreme innovations and fantasies. On their bodies, the implication of distanced creation is there for all to see.
There is no such thing as objective art history. There are only the interpretations of art historians. The work of these artists has been assessed in different ways. From Courbet's country peasants to Manet's new classes in the cities, from Monet's realism of light to the visions of Van Gogh, the painters we've been looking at seem to progressively move away from the real world, rejecting external appearances in favor of an inner, personal, imaginative truth. What we have seen is a crisis about how to handle the modern in its immediate form of the city. And the importance of the artists of the 1880s and 90s is as a kind of hinge. Artists still felt themselves responsible to the world, its social as well as its natural orders. But they had also opened up a realm of hitherto unimagined freedom for art. Later artists saw in the imaginative colours of Gauguin, in the exhilaration of Van Gogh's energetic brushwork, and above all in the inventiveness of Cézanne's later work, resources which were to inspire the whole array of 20th century isms, from purism to expressionism, from fauvism to cubism.